Hello everybody. I thought I'd do a step-by-step video on how to get a loop from Drum Genius and put it in Ableton so you can muck around with it and record yourself over it and things. As I said, this is for Ableton and it's for Mac as well. Mac Ableton is a slightly different process if you're on PC, but here's how you do it on the Mac anyway. So don't worry about GarageBand. I'm just using this for my mic so you can hear me. But basically the first step is, you can't see this right now, but I've plugged my iPhone into my computer and I then press Command and Space to bring up the Spotlight search. And it's the easiest way to do what I'm about to do. And you just type in audio MIDI setup. And this has all your audio devices. And as long as the iPhone is connected to the computer via the USB to Lightning cable, there should be this thing. My phone is called Sekhmet, don't ask why, but your iPhone should appear somewhere down, normally towards the bottom of here. And you press Enable, and then basically you're then able to play things on your iPhone and they will stream directly into your computer. So there you can just do it in GarageBand if you wanted. You see, do you want to use the audio device iPhone? Right now I don't want to, but ultimately that would just play in GarageBand and then you can just record it. But we're not using GarageBand. So I'm going to open Ableton with the same method of Command Space and type in Ableton, and my Ableton is going to open up. Verifying. Don't know what that means. I'm just going to do this all in real time. I'm not going to edit this, just so that it's super clear for everybody. Now, when you open Ableton, if you don't know how to use Ableton, don't worry. What we're doing here is really simple. So you actually don't need to know anything. All of these are different channels, but we can basically just delete like all of them right now because we don't need any of them. We just need one audio track. So I just deleted the audio track. But as long as you have one audio track, we can get the loop from Drum Genius. So what we do is we go File, Live Settings, okay? Or you can press Command and comma. I like to press Command and comma because it's just quicker. And here comes up the preferences for Ableton. And then to record, using our iPhone, to record what we're hearing on the iPhone, then we just need to select the audio input device to iPhone. And it says 2 in, 2 out. 2 in, 0 out. Yeah, because it's got no outs, but it's got a left and right in. So it's got a stereo in. So that means that I can now play my loops on Drum Genius. Again, just imagine I have an iPhone on my table and I've opened Drum Genius and I'm going to play it. And do you see there is a little green bar in there? And that means there is sound coming in. So far, kind of so good, but we can't hear anything right now. Few things we just need to do. First thing is to make this a stereo track because Drum Genius, I'm not sure, but I think it's stereo audio. So there's like a left channel and a right channel. So we just need to select 1 and 2 to make it a stereo channel. And then the way these channels work in Ableton is that you're not going to hear anything because this monitor section down here is set to off. So it means that we can't hear any sound. But if we want to monitor the incoming audio, we just need to set it to auto. And then we need to enable the record button. So down here, this is the record arm button. It's not going to record anything, but it's just like arming the recording, if you know that from sound engineering stuff. It's just sort of, the red button, ready to record, if you like. And now if I play, don't worry about that. Now if I play this rhythm, Oh, hang on. I think something happened. Sometimes what happens is if your phone loses connection. Yeah, my phone lost connection for a second. So that means we just have to go back to the audio MIDI setup and press enable again. I've got a bad connection on my phone, so hopefully that won't happen to you. And then again, we have to go into settings again and select the iPhone. Okay, so now if we play this, okay, I didn't actually start right at the beginning because I already had it halfway through the beat, but you can hear the sound now. We're doing this 9/8 thing. Oh, hang on, that's not what we wanted. This. Okay, so we can hear that coming through. I'm going to stop that, and now to record on Ableton in this mode, which is, for anyone interested, is the session mode. You've got two modes in Ableton: the normal kind of timeline mode and the session mode, and you can toggle between the two with the tab button. But we're just going to use the session mode. And then all we need to do is we need to press one of these record buttons. It doesn't matter which one, but it's going to record this Drum Genius groove into whichever of these boxes that we select, that we press the record on. So I'll just show you what I mean. So click it, and now that's recording. So we now press play, and it's gone onto my lock screen. Okay. Okay. So that's going to have recorded that to Ableton. It's got a big gap because my phone locked itself. But there's also something we should do before we get this where we want it to be, which is to change the actual time signature and BPM to match what's coming in from Drum Genius. So you can't see this, but Drum Genius gives quite a lot of information with its loops and things, its descriptions. It says traditional Greek rhythm called Karsilimas 9/8. Okay, so first thing we need to do is we need to change this 4/4 up here to 9/8. Okay, you can hear what that sounds like. And what's good about Ableton is it gives a high note, a high metronome note on the 1, and then all the other beats are the kind of lower clave sound. So okay, so that's super fast at the moment. Things in 9/8 just are quite fast. And we're going to change it to the BPM specified on Drum Genius, which is 100 BPM. Okay, I'm also going to turn this. If you want to turn the metronome down, it's quite loud. If you see where my cursor is, it's just down here. This thing here is the metronome volume. Okay, that sounds good. We don't need to try and line it up as we record it in. We're going to do that later, but just so that you get, it makes it easier if you just do this stuff before you import the audio. Okay, so now all that's left to do is just, we're going to get one of these boxes recording, and then I'll turn the metronome off because it's not going to line up right now, but we press play on Drum Genius. Okay, I happen to know that's actually where the loop ends. Why? Because Drum Genius does actually give you a little indication of like where the loop is. But we'll deal with that in a second. First thing to do here is you come down, you can sort of move around this window with just this magnifying glass. But the bass, it detects these beats automatically by putting these little arrows here. And what's so good about Ableton is you just press right click on this, which is the first beat. You see that I've got complete silence up until this point, and this is where the beat comes in. So this is our one. So all we need to do is press right click, and then there's this command which says set 111 here. So that's the first beat of the first bar of the first measure. Anyway, that's the first beat, and now we have a 1 there. And of course, this is all completely not. We don't need any of this. You can keep it if you like, but we'll just put the loop bar to that. And you change the loop, what are they called? Loop handles, using just dragging with the left mouse button. Just drag where you want the loop to start. And then we can play the loop again using, pressing this. And we can see just visually what's going on. Okay, so and if I count, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 bars. Is what the actual loop is, and everything beyond this point is just a repeat that is coming in from Drum Genius. I know that partly because I can hear it, partly because Drum Genius shows you where it's looping, and partly because the description says it's a 4-bar cycle. What they call it, a cycle loop, same thing. Now to just make this our loop, we can again either drag the loop marker at the end to that, or a kind of shortcut is just to select the portion of the rhythm that you want and press Command L, which means loop. And then you've got this loop. And then we can hear that it's lining up perfectly by turning on the metronome again up here. Okay, so that's how we get a kind of interesting rhythm from Drum Genius into Ableton. And then, of course, you can just have fun with stuff. You can record things. Now that that's all in, we don't need to keep the iPhone as our input, and we can start using our sound card. Yeah, you kind of need a sound card for this, or audio interface as they're called. Or you can, at a stretch, just plug in a USB mic into your computer if you have a USB mic, or you can use a mini jack input. But yeah, I think USB mic, if you don't want to get an audio interface, you can find pretty cheap ones around that will work, but they're just designed to put the sound, connect your microphones or whatever it is you have into your computer. But I've got this Fireface UCX, which is more of a kind of high-end audio interface. So I'm selecting that as my input, and then you're hearing my sound on GarageBand. But if I switch to, I've got all these presets for my voice that I've made. But yeah, I won't use one of those. I'll just set up something from scratch quickly just to show you. I just need to mute my mic on GarageBand. Okay, so you might be able to hear already it's a lot lower level because on GarageBand I've got a few things to help with the sound of the mic. But you hear that's quite loud, and then this mic that I've got in here, is quite quiet. So there's a few things we can do. If we go into audio effects, dynamic compressor, compressing your vocals is always probably one of the first things that I tend to do. It basically makes the quieter parts of your voice louder and the louder parts quieter, so it kind of regulates the volume a bit. So kind of pull this bar down, threshold, and then we just press make up, and we've got a kind of more compressed sound. Like, and you know, there's obviously lots and different ways that you can do it and make really, really nice sounds in the studio and stuff. But for now, we just kind of want to get the volume sounding nice. So that's good. And then maybe I would just, also a quick tip, if you press Command F, you get into this search, and I'm going to just press EQ, and there's this thing called EQ8, which is equalization is something that you'll almost certainly come across. It kind of makes your voice, it gives your whole bass, middle, treble spectrum of your voice, and then you can choose which parts of it to emphasize or de-emphasize. For instance, I've got a voice that I've just now taken all of the low frequency out, so it's just the very, very high frequencies, and then I can just scoop it, and here's some mids here, and so now it's mids and highs, and now we got the low stuff out again, and you can hear my bassy voice. Or I could go the other way and just take all the high frequencies out and just scoop that, and then all you're hearing is the low frequencies. You may not even be able to hear like what I'm saying, because you tend to need the high frequencies in order to work out what speech is saying. Or I can just make little dips and things in things, like, this sounds kind of quite boxy and not very nice, so I might just take some of that out. And you see there's this other control, which don't worry about it right now, but you can make the dip like either really narrow or like really big. And so I quite like sort of lazy, sort of wide dips there. And then maybe I just, I'll take that one off, and then I maybe will just like boost the frequencies there. And then the voice starts to sound a little bit more full and rich. You hear the difference between that? It's all kind of like boxy, and then now it's like, it's kind of sounds a bit smoother, Might roll off some of the bass frequencies. And depending on what I want, I can have a different setup of this for each of these channels. So, I've got my rhythm here. Right, I don't really want to sing in 9/8 because I'm not used to this, but yeah, let's just try something. 2. Okay, so that was really terrible, but I'm still trying to work this out. Okay, but what's good is that, like, this is what we've recorded, okay? So I couldn't work out where I was in the rhythm right there. So basically what's quite cool is you can just take what you've recorded, and then using these loop markers again, you can just go and just select one bar of that, and then Mr. Alex has actually done a repeatable loop because I've artificially made it loop. So and do you see, you can kind of like hear that, and I can start to, if I make another channel, okay, making another channel, you just select that channel. We'll just quickly call this Fox 1 and name this Iridium 1, and then we just click on the channel, the track as it's known, and just press Command D, and we've duplicated everything on that track, both the thing that's been recorded and then our settings here for our compressor and our EQ. Okay, so now I can listen to that. And I can actually start to sing along with this part, which I had no idea what I was doing, but because I've looped it, I can just start to get a feel for this rhythm. So Okay, so I might just choose this part here because I got it a bit wrong there. I could do this over again. So now we've just got a harmony. But it sounds kind of cool. And it's just a 1-bar loop, but maybe I want to do something else on this next one. So again, I just press Command D, duplicate, and this time I'm going to look at my my settings, and I'm actually just going to add something kind of like, fun. So I'm going to go for a reverb, and Valhalla is a reverb that I really like. So I'm just going to stick that on, and switch the track. So you obviously don't want that much, but lovely Valhalla plugin has this mix button that we can just, whoa, it's a really big reverb. So who knows? And we take some of the bass out of it, and we just have a little play. And what I might trying to work out which one to talk to you on. What I might do is I might just keep this rhythm like up on this screen. So you click on it and then you go down here. And I'm just going to look at this rhythm. And I can see the 1, the 2, the 3, which is the first bar, second bar, third bar, fourth bar. And I can kind of like see when it comes to that point, and it'll help me, solo a little bit over the top of this. So yeah, I'll start it recording and then I'll switch over. I'm not about to do an amazing solo over 9/8 because I'm rubbish at 9/8, and this is what I'm learning at the moment. But yeah, hopefully that gives you a sense of like how you can begin to not just sing and sing and sing over a rhythm that you don't understand, but kind of really have a look at it and really sort of work out bits and almost be quite micro in your decisions of like, oh, that sounds a bit, and you just listen to that for a long time and you start to hear things like, oh, I could go up here and for this next thing. And all of this you now have as completely separate loops that if you want to, make a song at some point, you just have to, take it into the timeline and, move things around and, oh, I want this loop to go on for this long, and I want this piece of thing to come in here and then there, and then I want this. You start to be able to build whole songs, restructure it. Maybe I want this this sound here. Maybe I want to pitch it down like an octave. So, I would say I probably don't want to do that, but do you see what I mean? It's like we can then do whatever we like with this audio because they're all separated and recorded separately, and yeah, lots of fun.